Hi students, welcome to part 2 of rational numbers and decimals. If you are just joining us, you should watch the part 1 video first and follow along with that before watching this video. If you've already watched that video, you're in just the right place and we will be moving on. So we're just going to go through one more time 3 ways to change either a fraction to a decimal or a decimal to a fraction, and just do a step-by-step example on this side, and then you are going to do a practice example on this side. All right, so first we're going to use the fraction 3/4. Okay, and that's our fraction that we're going to use. And I already wrote that too big. I'm going to need to erase that and write smaller. So with our fraction 3/4, we know that fractions can be viewed as a division problem. So we'll be writing this just like a division problem. So top dog in the doghouse, we'll do 3 divided by 4. And how many times, we ask ourselves, how many times does 4 go into 3? We get 0. So we add decimals, and now we add another 0 here. And 4 goes into 30 about 7 times. So we'll do 7 times 4, which gives us 28. Subtract 28, 30 take away 28 leaves us with 2. And 4 doesn't go into 2, so we can bring down a 0 right here. And 4 does go into 20, and it goes in 5 times. So 5 times 4 is 20. And that leaves us with a remainder of 0, which is exactly what we want. So 3/4 written as a decimal is 0.75. Now I'd like you to practice, and I'd like you to use the fraction 4/5, 4/5, and go ahead and show all the steps just like I did here. Show the division problem and show me what you get for your final answer for your decimal. What's your answer going to be up here? All right, and then once you're finished with that, go ahead and unpause the video and we will go on to changing a decimal to a fraction. All right, so to change a decimal to a fraction, we're going to use the example 0.8. And we can read this decimal properly as 8/10. So when we read that as 8/10, we have two options. We can write it as the fraction, just 8/10, just like that. Or you can look at it and say, well, I see that this has one number after the decimal, so I know that I'll need 1 0 in my denominator, and then I always put a 1 in front of it, so it'll be 8/10, just like we made over here. And then we ask ourselves, is 8/10 simplified? Can it be reduced at all? And it can. So these are both even numbers, so it can at least be reduced by 2. So we're going to divide both by 2/2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then can 4/5 be reduced any farther? Nope, it can't. So 4/5 is my final answer. So I would like you guys to practice and do 0.9 just for now, and change this decimal to a fraction. Once you're finished with that, we can move on to how to change a mixed number to a decimal. To change a mixed number to a decimal, actually, I'm sorry, let me just erase this. You first need to start with a mixed number, and you'll have the example of 3 1/4. Okay, now there's 2 ways that you can change a mixed number to a decimal, and both will get you the same answer. So if you look at this mixed number, ask yourself, which one is the whole number? Well, it's the 3. The 3 is the whole number. So I know that when I'm looking at a decimal, the whole number is the number that comes before the decimal on this side. So I can put my 3 right here, and then I know that the fraction part is the part that's going to come after the decimal, because this fraction represents a piece of a number that's not a whole number, and the decimal represents the same thing. So I can look at it this way, do my whole number right here in front of the decimal point, and then my fraction, once I change that to a decimal, is going to go right here after the decimal point. So I think we actually did 1 divided by 4 up here. We did. So 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. We already found that out. So when I finish this, I put my 3 in front of the decimal because that's my whole number, and then it would just be 3.25. Okay, so that's the first way to figure it out. You can leave this here and write some notes on the side. I'm going to erase this and show you another way to figure it out. It's a different way. It involves one extra step, and that's totally okay. It'll still get you the same answer. So the way you do it is you have the same mixed number, 3 1/4. And I always start at the denominator and draw an arrow going going clockwise. And then that reminds me that I need to do something in this order. So what we're going to do is multiply the denominator to the whole number and then add that new number to the numerator. And watch and you'll see what I'm doing here. So I did 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. So I got a new number of 13, and that's actually going to be my numerator. And then this number right here is my denominator, and that's going to stay the same. And what I did here was I changed this mixed number to an improper fraction, and that's this number right here, 13/4. Okay, so I took 3 1/4 and I converted it by using the multiplication and addition to convert it to an improper fraction right here. Okay, and then what I would do is I would follow the same steps that I would do like just changing a fraction to a decimal. So I would do 13 divided by 4. How many times does 4 go into 13? Well, it actually goes in. It goes in 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. If you subtract that, 13 take away 12 is 1. And 4 doesn't go into 1, but we don't want this remainder. So we're going to add a decimal point to the bottom and the top numbers right here. We'll add a 0 and bring that 0 down. How many times does 4 go into 10? Well, it goes in 2 times, so 2 times 4 is 8. If you subtract 8, 10 take away 8 is 2. And we're going to need one more 0 to bring that down, and that is going to make this number 20. 4 goes into 25 times evenly. 5 times 4 is 20, and that leaves us with the remainder of 0. That's exactly what we want. So 3.25 is our decimal. So both ways, the first way and this way, both give us the same answer. It just depends on which one works best for you. All right, so for your practice, I'd like you to change the mixed number 4 1/5 to a decimal. You can do it this way by changing it to an improper fraction first, or you can view the 4 as a whole number and just work with the 1/5 fraction. It's your choice. And once you finish that, you can go ahead and move on to the last set of practice that you'll be doing at home today. You'll be completing this chart. So you'll be doing the same exact thing that we were working on up here, only you'll be doing it on your own for just a little bit more practice before you come to class. Feel free to email me with any questions. Bring these notes to class as well tomorrow, and we'll be going over them and then doing a lot more practice to get really comfortable with this lesson. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.